Arg! Ahoy there, matey! Welcome aboard the world of boating.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I was just looking into buying a boat of my own.
Call World of Boating toll-free now at 1-8888-28-BOAT. That's 1-888-828-BOAT.
And welcome. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick, Barry the boater, Mike the mariner, rounding out the crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information. All right, so coming up, I believe it starts Thursday or Friday, is the West Palm Beach Boat Show. So they're getting ready for that big event down there in that neck of woods. We were looking at the ticket prices, typical for, your boat shows, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, kind of in conjunction with those, similar, 25 a day, I don't know, 50 a day, depending on what package you want to get. But then they got this new VIP experience, and it's $1,000. I was like, holy crap. It's like, welcome to the boat show champagne room, I guess.
Do they carry you around piggyback?
You know what?
For that $1,000?
I would hope so. That they're supplying but actually, I think you check in at some, fancy hotel or, place, and then they shuttle you in on your own little private, I don't know, boat or something. They water, it's like a water landing, I read. But $1,000, it's like, oh my gosh, geez, you'd think you'd get a boat for that almost. Like,
Patrick, perhaps they shuttle you on a bus and then you could watch people peeing in the corners.
No,
I'm telling you, that was worth every dollar. Okay, whatever it cost me, if I forget what it cost me for fuel to come down to Miami for that alone was worth it. And that video, do you not agree, Barry? Does it look like I'm driving that bus?
Yes, it does. It does. It was funny
because I was.
Yeah. Well, it's for the super yachties that are in the market, I guess, at the Palm Beach Boat Show.
Or the people.
That's an expensive cocktail party.
Yeah, definitely.
Or the people who want to look like
maybe
they're a yachty.
Could be a little bit of that going on. Who knows? I mean, I know that's how Barry the boater is gonna, do the Palm Beach Boat Show if he goes this weekend, right? Right, Barry?
I'll make a prediction. At least
this
one of the
weekend.
people that buy those tickets.
Yeah.
I'll
at least
make a
one.
prediction.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, at least one of those people is going to be walking around with a captain's hat on.
Okay, yeah, I think that's right.
That buy that $1,000. Yeah,
yeah, it's definitely the high rollers that they're catering to because that's a pretty. That's gonna keep out the trash.
So that would actually be a great bit if we actually did bits for this show. Would be to get Barry to dress up as Thurston Howell III.
True.
And I'll video him at the boat show.
Oh, Lovey, let's go check out the boat.
Now is Lovey Patrick?
No, I am Gilligan. We all know that.
All right, just checking.
You're the skipper.
Well,
no,
okay.
If you ask Greg who I am, he's going to tell you Gilligan. So I just jumped to the head of the line.
You just said Thurston Howell III was going to be Barry, and then if you were going to go with him, I figured you'd have to be Lovey.
Dressed up in drag?
Yeah. It's up to you.
That's where
I'm
you
not
went
going to judge.
No, I think Greg had dressed up in drag once, so he's probably easy.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you and Patrick
Go
work
look
it
at
out.
Scuba Radio, one of those shows you were dressed up
and make it happen. We have absolutely no budget for such an event, but feel free to go out on your own for your own enjoyment. But yeah, that would be a fun thing to kind of crash the party if you had extra grand to blow and just see who you run into. Yeah. And experience it. But anyway, so that's going on this weekend. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to be able to go to the boat show because I'm actually going on a boat Sunday. I'm going to be going on the New Virgin Voyages cruise ship.
That's not a boat. That's a ship.
Well, ship,
well,
you
did say cruise ship.
Right, I did.
How big is this ship?
It's one of those big monster boats. Yeah, it's not as big as like the biggest Royal Caribbean cruise ship, but it's right up there with the Disney and,
And they're not going to have go-karts or any of those other fun things.
They don't have go-karts on this one. They have no kids, which is a big win. And they spend some quality time over in Bimini where we're going to go do some scuba diving, which is pretty unique for a cruise stop to go to that island.
Is it as big as the Norwegian Escape?
No, it is not.
Okay, because I think that one's still grounded.
I don't think it is actually. I think they let the people off the boat. It grounded and had some problems.
And it just lifted up.
No, I don't. It didn't ground, did it? I mean, it grounded, but I mean, I thought they got back to the dock and let the people off and had to cancel a cruise or something. Mike's
That is correct.
Mike's nodding his head. Yeah,
It hit the seabed as it pulled away from Puerto Plata
yeah,
in the DR,
right.
and that damaged the ship's hull.
Yep.
So that's a pretty significant hit.
Absolutely. Yeah, but I mean, I believe they got everybody off, even though it was a major inconvenience. They had to cancel the cruise. I don't think it was, totally ruined. They just had to cancel the trip and do the repairs and get everybody home. I don't know if they had to get them back from that cruise port or whatever. But yeah, I read about that. That's unfortunate.
They're going to
would
have
think
to
that
dry dock it, I believe.
Yeah,
that's what I
probably.
would think. I don't think
maybe.
you can just.
Well,
go
it was
underneath there
kind
and
of
patch it up.
they said it grounded due to high wind. They
Mhm.
got stranded overnight.
Yep.
But they refloated and returned to port at high tide, so they had to wait for the tide to come in.
Yeah, but the people on the boat were happy as a clam. It didn't really affect their activities on boat. They just kept drinking and eating, and they were fine.
Well, that
but
was
they're-
part of. That's the reason
Eh.
why it was sitting so low.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
but
maybe,
did-
but I mean, it didn't really affect them other than they had to cancel the rest of the cruise, but they've been given another cruise and a half or something bonus. I mean, I saw an interview with one of the passengers and they were like, yeah, it was unfortunate, but we just stayed on the boat and started drinking and eating, which what they pretty much do on a cruise anyway. They just weren't, covering much ground as far as going to the next port or whatever.
Do you think there might be with all the different types of cruises that they have out there? You've got the rock camp cruises and the Broadway show cruises and all this other stuff. Do you think there's a market out there for a cruise where you get the boat grounds intentionally and then you're just forced to moor for 2 or 3 days stuck in one spot and just party like it's nobody's business?
No.
Well,
I
why
don't-
do
I
that?
don't
Just
think.
drive in circles.
That's right. It sounds like he's
Because that would get you dizzy, Mike.
Isn't that what all the boaters do on the weekend and go to the sandbar?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, hey, I can't make it, boss. I can't make it to work. I'm stuck on this cruise ship. It's grounded.
Yeah.
You have an excuse. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey?
It was a sandbar party. We didn't realize it when we booked it at the time, but it is what it is.
I think you'd have too many environmental problems with that one. Running up on reefs and
Possibly,
sandbars and things
yeah.
like that.
I mean, they have their
And
issues.
destroying grass beds.
Yeah,
Hey,
there's no
hey,
question
Greg,
about it.
you said you were going scuba diving in Bimini, right, on this cruise?
That is the plan. Yes.
And I'm sure you've already done this, but there was a story that posted World of Boating on Facebook, and through the magic of the internet, it appears at worldofboating.com at virtually the same time. Posted a story about the history of the Bimini healing hole.
Correct. I'm aware of this. Yes.
Have you dove that?
No. It's not
Really?
really. It's not really a thing where you go to dive per se. I don't guess. I guess you can, but I mean, look at me. Obviously, I've been there. I mean,
Okay.
I'm a 100-year-old man. I look like I'm in my 20s, don't I?
The
You
only
can
reason
see
why I
this
was
on
asking is
Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch, and you're welcome.
because part of the article was this underwater destination is one that has attracted snorkelers and scuba divers for years.
Yeah,
So-
I don't know. I mean, it's there's a couple different sites. I was talking to
Okay.
my buddy Neil Watson, who kind of started diving in Bimini, and it's a site, but it's it's not like one of the primo dive sites per se. I think it's
Okay.
kind of shallow, so
What
it might
makes
be
it a
more
healing
for
hole? Is it
Listen.
extra salty or something?
Yes, it
You don't
is.
You don't have to mock it for its personality.
No, yeah, I mean, it is more, it has more salt, kind of like, that's what they think the healing properties are from, is from, the salinity. So you float like, when you're in the Dead Sea, they have the same type of things, but it's kind of funky. I mean, it's
They
not
should
really,
call it the
it's-
Dead Sea Part 2.
well,
Well, they actually did mention Neil Watson's business in that article as well. As
Mhm.
I guess.
well, he
they
kind
run,
of started diving, he was like one of the first diving
Well, he's
operators.
almost 200 years
in
old,
Bimini.
so you figure it did work.
He obviously been to the healing hole. So, he's held up well over the years. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a thing. I guess.
Okay.
But it's not like a popular dive site per se in the big scheme
I
of
would
things.
have figured you pretty much have dove every spot, even the shallow ones around the world. That's kind of, and that one being as close to Florida that you hadn't actually dove. I really was expecting to say, "Oh yeah, I dove that."
Well, I actually we've been around it. I don't know if I dove that exact spot because there's not much there from what I'm told, other than this little hole. But
Is it
I
a
don't know.
lake or is it what is it? Is it like in the middle of the island?
I don't even remember, Mike. To be honest with you, I'm too
Sure.
I'm too focused on the big animals that they have in the Bahamas. They got sharks right now. It's hammerhead season, where you can go over there and dive with like 15-foot great hammerheads, and that's what we're planning to do when we spend a day over there in Bimini on that Virgin Voyage boat. I'll talk about it when we get back. More coming up. Stay close.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why we've added Nanook protective hard cases to our list of products you can now purchase on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. Underwater photographers, listen up. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook protective cases cost less than similar products currently on the market. The company has been around for over 15 years, but it's new to the U.S., so we've made a small number of Nanook cases available exclusively for you at a special introductory price on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Go there now and check out Nanook, the evolution of protection.
Be an explorer in the other 2/3 of your world. Be the buddy who takes the kids in the aquarium instead of just to it. Be adventurous. Be amazed. Be a diver.
Even Keatley wasn't ready for me, or anything that followed. Chased by a police department, led by his ex-girlfriend, and hunted by brain fork-wielding Fijian assassins, it's everything he can do to keep from getting locked up, killed, or worse. Kava Screw is available as an ebook for $2.99 at Amazon.com. Kava Screw. Put a brain fork in him. He's done.
You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Yoo-hoo, Mr. Pirate!
What will we do with a drunken sailor? What will we do with a drunken sailor? What will we do with a drunken sailor at night in the morning?
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate. That is me, along with Captain Patrick Barry, the boater, Mike the Mariner, rounding out the crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information. And that's a little ditty there for St. Patrick's Day this past week. And, leprechauns, popular mythical creature that they have on St. Patrick's Day. Well, when I go to Bimini, there is a similar thing in the Bahamas called the chickchorny. It's kind of like the leprechaun of the Bahamas. And we're going to be on the lookout for that, after our day of diving is done, when we're in Bimini on that cruise ship with Virgin Voyages. And then we might have a cocktail or two, and that's when you have a much more likely chance of experiencing a encounter with a chickchorny. So now you know.
You have to be vaccinated before you find this thing?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, probably after. You might need a vaccination.
Penicillin will fix that.
If you see a chickchorny, kind of like the leprechaun of the Bahamas, and I'll report back accordingly. Captain Patrick, what say you?
I say that we're going to move on to some stories that actually involve boating. So, about mid-year last year, we had talked about the MRAA bonus points. If anybody remembers what that stands for,
that's the vaccine technology they use to curb COVID, right?
No, it's the Marine Retailers Association of America.
Oh,
they have started a certified pre-owned boat program, and you are now going to start to see those boats probably show up at boat shows or at dealerships for a couple different reasons. One, of course, they've launched a program, so if the dealership is a MRAA member, there is a 136-point inspection. Now, the boats are limited to a certain range of years and a couple other qualifiers. One, they only go back 10 years, so they're not going to certify anything that's more than 10 years old. Two, the boat has to be certified, marine industry certified, for them to, from the manufacturer, for them to go ahead and do the pre-owned program. If it does have that, the customers can buy it from the dealer. They'll get a 55-hour or 3-month limited guarantee. Probably figure that 3 months is going to be the one that gets used up, just for the fact that most people aren't using their boat 50 hours a year, unfortunately. So with all of the new boats that have been sold the last couple years and the outstanding orders for new boats that have yet to be filled, we know in the industry there have been more people buying boats that have never boated before. And the expectation is some people who thought that it was going to be a great idea kind of realized that, man, there's actually some work involved with this, and they no longer want the boat, or maybe their status has changed and they need to sell it. So one of the things that we've also talked about the last year and a half or so is the expected incoming used boats into the market as well, which is good news, bad news, because you're going to find boats that maybe have got a year on them, maybe a year and a half, low hours, still have maybe the remainder of any engine warranty, any other component warranties, things like that. So question to you guys is, does a boat being MRAA certified, is that going to influence your decision on buying the boat, or would you still go and get a pre-purchase survey done anyway?
Mike the Mariner, what say you?
I would absolutely still get a survey done, but I think it's a good thing for the industry that, the used boat market in general. It's kind of like Carfax for boats, right?
Sure.
So
yeah.
So like in my case, I mean, my boat's older than that, so I wouldn't be able to have purchased, that.
Right. Yeah. Mike just froze. Mike, you just froze. Mute your. Maybe you might want to mute your camera. I think he's having a tough internet connection today. But yeah, I would I'd back him up on that too. I mean, that's just one more feather in your cap. If it has that certification, it's going to make you feel a little bit better about purchasing that used boat. Barry the Boater, what say you?
No, I agree. It would be like a seal of approval. But on my boat, I don't think there are 136 points that could even be
They can find them, Barry.
Yeah,
you
come
can't
on.
find 136 points on my boat. It's too small. But do you think manufacturers have looked down a couple of years and have adjusted the number of boats that they're producing because they feel that there's going to be possibly a glut of used boats on the market that could affect their sales?
Nope.
No
way.
Really? They just think it's all going to go.
I know for a particular boat brand what the projection is. And that projection has not changed. Now, there could be a wide variety of things that occur, at any time, any type of a disruption that may eventually affect that. But as of right now, boat manufacturing plants, it's build them, get them sold, because these outstanding orders, or these people are going to move on to another boat brand.
Right.
And right now, even used boats that are coming into the market are getting snapped up pretty darn quick.
Yeah.
So you don't have it there's a constant feed going right now. So you're not seeing that glut yet of used boats in the market. Will it happen? Hard to say. Again, we know from surveys that go out with when people purchase new boats, those who bother to answer the surveys, that again, more first-time boaters getting into the lifestyle. Some have an idea of what's involved, others do not. A lot of what comes into play there is, of course, with the dealership and the boat delivery and a full understanding of the boat and the systems and maintenance and things like that. And that's, in the past, I've talked about, having a boat concierge, if you will, at boat shows that you could sit down with and talk about your boating wants and needs and have them kind of direct you to, the different models, brands that would fit what you are looking for versus kind of going in and looking for maybe the cheapest, or you're getting one that's too big. That happens a lot where customers go in and they buy something and they realize, man, this is just more boat than I wanted. It's more than I'm willing to maintain. And they wind up selling it. On the other end, people have gone in for the cheapest boats. And when I say cheapest, I shouldn't say cheap as in cost effective. And they realize that the boat doesn't fit their growing family or their needs. They're underpowered, things like that.
Bigger is better is what they find out with most things. At least that's what she said. All right, more coming up on the World of Boating.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Traffic sucks, unless you're scuba diving with Mike Scott.
Mike glanced down at his dive computer. It showed less than 50 PSI left in his tank. Probably just a few more breaths.
Or riding shotgun in a thrilling car chase.
One bullet hit the Jeep's windshield, spiderwebbing the passenger side. Mike shifted into second gear and felt the Jeep leap forward. This just got serious.
Escape your commute with audiobooks from author Eric Douglas. Download to your phone. Go to booksbyeric.com or audible.com.
Be an explorer in the other 2/3 of your world. Be the buddy who takes the kids in the aquarium instead of just to it. Be adventurous. Be amazed. Be a diver.
Imagine traveling twice as fast as you can drive. Imagine taking friends and family snorkeling, surfing, skiing, shopping, and more to exotic destinations. Imagine attending business meetings in cities far away and still making it home at night. Or just imagine exploring the wild blue yonder.
Quit dreaming about it and get to it. There has never been a better time to become a private pilot, and Flight Training Professionals in Orlando will show you how. Flight Training Professionals in Orlando is your full-service flight school. A state-of-the-art flight simulator, a fleet of the latest Cessna aircraft, and a staff of full-time seasoned flight instructors are just a few of the many reasons Flight Training Professionals in Orlando is the place to start your aviation adventure. Call 407-896-0077. That's 407-896-0077. Or go to ftpros.com. That's ftpros.com. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick, Barry the Boater, Mike the Mariner, rounded out the crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information. So, yeah, Barry has an interesting question, but I think the market is just so strong right now for used boats, new boats. They just can't make them fast enough, the manufacturers. And as far as the used boats, we need more. I mean, remember Captain Rusty was on the show a few weeks ago, and he was just saying it's insane. The price that he is getting for used boats right now. So, the market could probably absorb, an influx of used boats going on the market, or going up for sale right now. So, and if you have one, you want to want to sell, this is a good time. If
Yeah,
you want to
they're
get out
probably-
of it, probably, I guess, too.
No,
right?
no better time. And
Yeah.
one that just recently sold. We had the perfect boat for Jerry the Diver guy, Greg.
Yeah.
Oh,
he
really?
wanted to buy a boat
But-
to live on in South Florida. And
Yeah,
why?
but he does. In fact, not only would it have been the perfect boat for Jerry, it would have been the perfect boat for you as well, since one of your passions is flying.
True. Okay. That is true.
The USS Kitty Hawk.
Oh, okay. No, he would.
Uh,
That would give him a little extra deck space.
Yeah. Any idea what it sold for, Greg?
I don't know. Was it on eBay? Like
Greg,
I don't know.
give me pick
I'm
a
a-
number, any number.
How big is it? What is the size of this thing? Just
It's
so
an
we know.
aircraft carrier.
I know. So it's like what, 300 yards or something, or do you even have that info?
It's
like
1,047 feet long, 252
so
feet
about
wide.
300 yards. All right. So
In fact, it's too big to go through the Panama Canal.
right. And
That's how big it is.
I don't think Jerry would have access to the dockage necessary for that.
It
But
doesn't matter. You don't need dockage.
I say
for
per
something that
foot,
big.
I'm gonna go. I don't know, $10 a foot. So 1,000 feet is what? Come on, accountant Barry.
$10,000.
Wow.
That's it.
Just add a zero.
Okay. Well, I guess
Would've- would've
I'll
figured
go
you
100
would've
grand.
Just thrown out a number.
I was just
Barry,
trying to
any
do it
idea?
per foot.
Yeah. Any idea what it sold for?
I'm going to say 50 cents.
Ooh, Mike,
$10.
under $1.
Under a dollar. What? Something's fishy going on here. Somebody knew somebody. Just want to transfer ownership, sounds like. We'll find out next, right here on The World of Boating.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Come on, Williams, what are you standing around for here? Get on board.
Get on board. Don't fret. Don't try to worry. Just get on board. I'll take you there.
Okay, take us there. Why don't you? This is the World of Boating. Greg, first mate, Captain Patrick Barry, the boater, rounding out the crew.
music.
All right, so you have a aircraft carrier that goes up for sale, and somebody buys it for less than $1.
That's
Patrick?
correct. And it sounds like our rejoin music.
No, don't worry about that. What happened?
So, the USS Kitty Hawk, a much storied aircraft carrier, battle tested from Vietnam to the Persian Gulf, and it survived a collision with a Soviet submarine. Not only that, the collision with the Soviet submarine, I believe they got part of the sub's prop embedded in the hull that they were then able to and, hey, that's ours now, and we're able to gain some technology on the Soviet subs and their props and acoustical signatures and things like that. Anyway, International Shipbreaking Limited of Brownsville, Texas, bought the ship last year for less than $1 from U.S. Naval Sea Systems Command, which oversees the disposal of retired warships. So less than $1, you got yourself an aircraft carrier. Kind of there had been a move where there were a group of veterans that had served on the USS Kitty Hawk and wanted to turn it into a floating museum, such has been done with some other aircraft carriers as of late. But this one, it really kind of the only one of its, I guess, remaining one of its kind, because I think after that it went to the Nimitz class.
This one was the final conventionally powered, oil-fired aircraft carrier. All the other ones after that were Nimitz class and forward nuclear power vessels.
They were nuclear vessels.
Yes.
Vessels.
Yes.
Vessels.
So moving on from that, and a tip of the hat and a salute to any of our listening audience or their family members that served on the USS Kitty Hawk. kind of an inglorious end. I think maybe one that's not very well deserved, but that's what happens sometimes, and probably wind up in a washing machine near you in the very near future.
Razor blades.
Razor blades. So, talking about used boats, the boat market as a whole, down in Palm Beach, a dealer is suing customer that bought a $490,000 used boat. Any guesses as to what the dealer is suing the customer for?
He used the head before it was in the water.
Oh, disgusting guess and wrong.
Why did you go there, Barry?
Yeah, really.
I had to think of something.
Was that you, Barry? Did you go there?
If that sounds like something that you would want to sue someone for.
Is that the first thing you test on a survey?
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
I kept
You do
trying
that
to at the boat show, and Patrick kept saying, "No, you can't use that."
Wow. Wait, what do you do that before you make an offer? So you're kind of driving the price down, Barry?
You want to make sure that thing works if you're going to pay that much money.
Okay. All right. Hey, how's the crapper? I ain't making an offer until I know. Wow. Okay. We found out a little bit more about Barry than we really needed to know. But just go ahead and tell us what happened,
Okay.
Patrick.
So
Why?
the dealer is suing the customer for libel. So American Yacht Group, which is a Palm Beach County based yacht dealer, is suing a customer after that customer apparently posted, and I don't think there's any question as to whether they did or they didn't. I think they pretty well know at this point that they did post negative comments about American Yacht Group on their Facebook page. So in a lawsuit that was filed in Palm Beach County, American Yacht Group states that Marina, boy, what a great first name for somebody with a boat, and Wozniakowski and her husband Michael purchased a used 490,000 39-foot HCB yacht. Mike, I know you're familiar with that brand. The Wozniakowskis, according to the purchase agreement and the lawsuit, had the opportunity to have the vessel fully inspected and tested, but they declined.
Right there. That is the genesis of the story.
Yep.
And so what did they find? That obviously it had some major issue, and then she was not very happy.
What they posted was they had to replace the fridge, the air conditioning unit, icebox, refrigerator, all the gunnel side pads. There was electrical issues. Radio just turned on full volume in the middle of the night. They said the dealership falsified paperwork towards the motors. And as they wrote on here, we had Yamaha confirmed local dealership was full of it. So they kind of blasted all over Facebook. And the lawyers for American Yacht Group said the above statements and innuendo are false, and defendant published in false statements of fact and false innuendo about AYG to indulge ill will, hostility, cause harm, and financially damage AYG.
Barry the boater, what say you?
Did the heads work?
Oh boy, why?
That's important.
They did not mention if there were any issues there, but when we had Matt on a week ago, and as we've talked about, and as we talked about with the MRAA, the Certified Used Boat Program, as Mike brought up, even with if this boat, let's say, had been MRAA certified, and it wasn't because that program wasn't in effect when this boat was sold, but if it had been, and if Mike was looking at buying this boat, Mike would have gone and hired somebody like Matt to come in and do a pre-purchase survey and potentially find any of these issues that may have existed that maybe the 139-point inspection didn't pick up. You're still going to go, you still should go and have that done. But here's the biggest thing to take away from this. Blasting a dealership on social media, blasting a manufacturer, and I'm not just talking about boat manufacturers. It could be, I don't care if it's a boat, if it's a car, a truck, what have you, isn't going to fix the problem for you.
Nope.
The manufacturer isn't going to say, oh, well, Mr. Jones is really unhappy and he's been blasting us all over Facebook. Let's go ahead and give him what he wants. That's not going to happen. What you have to do is you have to work with the manufacturer or the dealer in a conducive way to get the things resolved that you feel should be taken care of. And maybe you're going to get everything you want. Maybe you're not. Maybe the dealer's going to wind giving in some stuff. And maybe even the manufacturer, even on a used boat, might step in and help resolve some of these issues. But taking this tact, not only is it wrong and doesn't resolve the issue, in this case, you're getting sued.
Well, you could get sued for anything. Do we know if Marina actually reached out to them before she started going on social media, or was that her first venue of choice to kind of get this resolved?
Even if she did, it doesn't matter. I mean, they bought the boat without a survey and without check. They bought this boat completely
as is, I guess.
As is.
Yeah.
And the dealer in this case had no obligation to fix anything.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, I just wonder, did she try to contact them, and then did they say, "Hey, sorry, it's your problem, leave me alone"?
Yeah.
Well, and then if she got upset about it, I mean, you know, I can understand. You can't say stuff that's not true, and if they can prove it's not true, she's in trouble.
And what I gleaned from the article is that, contact had been made. They reported issues, and the dealer, and not going to say that they did this, but maybe in a similar case, maybe the customer would have called and said, we just bought this boat from you. All these things don't work. You need to fix them. And the dealer's going to go, no, we don't. Versus you calling and saying, hey, calling the salesperson that you dealt with and saying, hey, Bob, this boat, listen, we love it. We got some issues. Was wondering if there's anything that, the dealership, or maybe if you can contact the manufacturer, that they can help us resolve. Depending on how old the boat is, there may be component warranties. So let's say the refrigerator manufacturer, the air conditioner manufacturer, there may be component warranties still in effect for those items that can help reduce the cost of any needed repairs.
Sure.
But, you just don't know until you go in, because I'll tell you, the thing about the AC units needing to be replaced, as long as I've been in boat manufacturing, which I'm coming up on my 36th year, those units, and I won't say the brand, but one that's well known in the industry, which we have used primarily during that time, very, very rarely do I hear issues about the unit itself. Maybe something with a relay box or something like that. Most commonly with an AC pump that's used to bring water from the strainer to the unit, really not part of the AC unit. But those units, it's not like those are getting yanked out of boats and changed out every 5 or 10 years.
I mean, it's one of those sayings, it's buyer beware. I mean, you do your homework, get your survey, make sure you're covered so you don't get yourself into that situation. All right, more coming up on the World of Boating.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Do you have a message or product you need to share with the boating world? Well, look no further than the World of Boating radio show. Just like you, thousands of boating enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to worldofboating.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
Traffic sucks, unless you're scuba diving with Mike Scott.
Mike glanced down at his dive computer. It showed less than 50 psi left in his tank. Probably just a few more breaths.
Or riding shotgun in a thrilling car chase.
One bullet hit the Jeep's windshield, spiderwebbing the passenger side. Mike shifted into second gear and felt the Jeep leap forward. This just got serious.
Escape your commute with audiobooks from author Eric Douglas. Download to your phone. Go to booksbyeric.com or audible.com.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why we've added Nanook protective hard cases to our list of products you can now purchase on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. Underwater photographers, listen up. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook protective cases cost less than similar products currently on the market. The company has been around for over 15 years, but it's new to the U.S., so we've made a small number of Nanook cases available exclusively for you at a special introductory price on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Go there now and check out Nanook.
the evolution of protection.
You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the world of boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm strong to the finish because I eat me spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick Barry, the boater, Mike the Mariner, rounding out the crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information. All right, so don't blast your broker, your boat broker, your dealer in social media, or, it's not the same as like getting upset with like the airlines when they booted you off an airplane. Yeah, it might make you feel good to vent on social media, but, it better be the last resort. And I think the one thing you want to keep in mind for sure, regardless of what tack you take to kind of get resolution in your own mind, if you have a problem with a transaction with a boat dealer, manufacturer, whatever, broker, you better be totally honest and not make up any crap. Because if you ever say anything in social media that can be proven wrong, you are definitely setting yourself up for legal action. So be careful, I guess.
Yeah, and in Palm Beach County, where the suit was filed, the minimum that you can seek to file a lawsuit is $30,000. So at a minimum, the dealership they're seeking in excess of $30,000. They didn't give a high amount, but it's going to be at least $30,000 if they're successful. And as they're a dealer, I'm not familiar with them, whether they're part of a larger group of dealerships, kind of like a Marine Max or a One Water. But if they are, they got legal as probably part of their business, their own division, and they'll do that stuff all day long.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. For them to take the step of actually initiating a lawsuit, their attorneys feel very, very confident that they're going to win this case.
That's right. Because I was going to say, that's a pretty high bar when it comes to libel and slander like that. You got to be able to prove it specifically, like, hey, they said this, and this is provable that it is not true. So that, if they're going that route, I mean, they obviously, somebody might have overstepped their bounds or let their emotions get hold of them a bit too much. So you got to be careful in that regard, because even if they don't win, who wants the headache? You know what I mean? And I understand using the public social media channels to kind of put peer pressure on them, and that's probably what they were thinking of. But, you got to be careful when you do that kind of stuff, too, and just look at the other side and understand that people usually don't react well when they're attacked.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things there. Like the dealer probably never wanted to come close to an event like this.
Sure.
Right? Because now their name's out there and they're suing a customer. It's not good for them either.
No.
But at the same time, they have to defend themselves for what happened.
Right.
The boat buyer made a huge mistake buying the boat without doing a survey and really understanding what they were getting into. And then they blew up the dealer on social media and likely cause them harm. So, it's just a bad situation all around.
Yeah, doesn't sound good.
I'll say that, there are a lot of companies out there, boat manufacturers among them, that in their marketing departments, they have an employee or several that do what? Monitor social media. So when these things do pop up, they're either contacting the customer to see how they can help, they're contacting the dealer, or they're contacting the customer service department or they're contacting customer service department, within the company and saying, are you aware of this? Have you heard from this customer? Is there something we can do to help? But it's amazing that people will be more apt to go on social media and vent and blast instead of picking up the phone, writing an email. Hi, My name is, I bought a used boat, or I bought this brand new boat, and I'm having a problem with the dealership, or I'm having a problem with the engine manufacturer. Can you help? But more people just want to go on. I don't know if it makes them, it gives them a sense of feeling powerful, or having people jump on and say, yeah, you're right. They're terrible. You go get them, guy. Meanwhile, that guy's kicking back saying, that guy ain't going to get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I think Boat US would step up and help their boater if they were a member of Boat US, and it was a legitimate issue.
Mitigation type thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And sometimes, they had the ability to, entice both parties to come up to an agreement, sort of like Switzerland,
Yeah.
They were
well
intermediary.
Once again, the moral of the story is to protect yourself from getting in that situation in the first place. Get your survey, get all the levels of protection you can, so you don't find yourself in a situation where you're trying to figure out some other way to get some relief. Patrick, what say you?
Yeah, I'm going to go on to the moral of the last story, and the moral of the last story, I got to ask this question, Greg. What kind of cooler do you use when you go out on a boat? Oh, wait a minute, that's right, you're just a passenger. Mike, what kind of cooler do you have?
A Yeti.
Barry?
It's a Coleman, I think Coleman, the big white.
Big old white
ones.
cooler. Gotcha. Yeah.
All right. So this past week, 4 men were rescued from the open waters of the Atlantic Ocean between Deerfield Beach and West Palm Beach, obviously trying to make it to the boat show. When their boat sank near Dania. Incident happened just before 2 p.m. They launched a 20-foot console from Port Everglades earlier in the day, but encountered some trouble. After their boat went down, they managed to stay afloat by using their coolers.
There you go. Hold on to the cooler, and then it was like happy hour to boot. So maybe that helped them.
Well, that's where the beer was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know what?
It's like, hey, we can't let this thing sink. Start drinking.
Right.
Forget the throw cushion.
Yeah.
The beer's in the cooler.
Another good use for your cooler. There you go. Thanks to your friends here at the World of Boating. On that note, we'll wrap it up till next time. Remember, whether it's sail or motor,
life is better as a motor.
Safe boating, everyone.
Here, you barnacle-bitten swab.
World of Boating is brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Any of this getting through to you, son?
World of Boating is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Computer standing by.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past shows worldwide over the internet at worldofboating.com.
Computers can do that?
So tell a friend and come aboard every week for the World of Boating.
This is so great. I can't wait. I'm getting goosebumps. Feel me.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
TTFN, ta-ta for now.
The opinions you just heard on the World of Boating are those of the hosts, callers, and guests. They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
What are you being such a weenie for?
While on the water, your safety and the safety of many others depends on you. So boat smart and operate your vessel only after receiving the proper training and instruction for your area.
There is a fine line between genius and madness.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at worldofboating.com.